Hello, hello. Got a bit of a long one for you today. Today we're going to follow Robert Joseph Pershing Foster as he crosses over to California. Let's get right into it. He replayed the rejections in his mind as he drove the few yards to the next motel. Maybe he hadn't explained himself well enough. Maybe it wasn't clear how far he had driven. Maybe he should let them know he saw through them after all those years in the South. He always prepared a script when he spoke to a white person. Now he debated with himself as to what he should say. He didn't want to make a case of it. He never intended to march over Jim Crow or try to integrate anybody's motel. He didn't like being where he wasn't wanted, and yet here he was, needing something he couldn't have. He debated whether he should speak his mind, protect himself from rejection, say it before they could say it. He approached the next exchange as if it were a job interview. Years later, he would practically refer to it as such. He rehearsed his delivery and tightened his lines. It would have been opening night jitters if it was theater, he would later say. He pulled into the lot. There was nobody out there but him, and he was the only one driving up to get a room. He walked inside. His voice was about to break as he made his case. "I'm looking for a room," he began. "Now, if it's your policy not to rent to colored people, let me know now so I don't keep getting insulted." A white woman in her 50s stood on the other side of the front desk. She had a kind face, and he found it reassuring, and so he continued. "It's a shame that they would do a person like this," he said. "I'm no robber. I've got no weapons. I'm not a thief. I'm a medical doctor. I'm a captain that just left Austria, which was Salzburg, and the German army was just outside of Vienna. If there had been a conflict, I would have been protecting you. I would not do people the way I've been treated here." It was the most he'd gotten to say all night, and so he went on with his delivery, more determinedly than before. "I have money to pay for my services," he said. "Now, if you don't rent to colored people, let me know so I can go on to California. This is inhumane. I'm a menace to anybody driving. I'm a menace to myself and to the public, driving as tired as I am." She listened, and she let him make his case. She didn't talk about mistaken vacancy signs or just rented rooms. She didn't cut him off. She listened, and that gave him hope. "1 minute, doctor," she said, turning and heading toward a back office. His heart raced as he watched her walk to the back. He could see her consulting with a man through the glass window facing the front desk, deciding in that instant his fate and his worth. They discussed it for some time and came out together. The husband did the talking. He had a kind, sad face. Robert held his breath. "We're not from Illinois," the husband said. "We don't share the opinion of the people in this area. But if we take you in, the rest of the motel owners will ostracize us. We just can't do it. I'm sorry." By now, if they had agreed to it, Robert would have been willing to check out before dawn, before anybody could see him, if that's what it took. It was a long shot, but some white proprietors had been known to sneak a colored traveler in on occasion, harbor them like a fugitive or a runaway slave, so long as he was out before the neighbors got wind of it. Robert would have accepted that even if he didn't like it. In his delirium, he imagined the exchange between husband and wife in the back office minutes before, the woman arguing his case, the husband skeptical, weary. Nobody will see him anyway, the wife's whispering. Yes, they will, the husband's responding. How will they know? Somebody might see him when he drives out of here, or somebody might see his car, where he's been before. The people that turned him down, they know we let him stay here. And so the answer was no. Robert thanked them anyway, especially the woman. If it had been up to her, he would have had the room. I believe that with everything that's in me, Robert said when he was older and grayer, this thing I've analyzed 3,000 times. Somehow Robert made it back to the car. He was in the middle of the desert and too tired to go on and too far along not to keep going. His mind took him back to Monroe, to the going away party they gave him. Almost done. Just a few nights ago, his own words rose up and laughed at him. How in the world can you stay here in this Jim Crow situation? Come go to heaven with me, to California. Wow, wow, wow. Good old Robert, good old Robert. So I just want to expound on a few points here. This first one I highlighted, where he is pleading his case. He's pleading his case to this white woman. He's pleading his case of how worthy he is of the room, of how he served this country, of how he's not a robber, a murderer, a killer, a thief. He's just a medical doctor. And unfortunately, that wasn't enough. The wife, and not only that, he says he has money to pay for his services. And the wife, she goes and consults her husband about it. And unfortunately, the husband, they're too afraid to be ostracized by the other motel owners. I'm not really mad at, white people. It's, racism, the systemic racism. It's a system that's bigger than one person, or one individual. So you will have some white people who will want to help, like how they say here, some did help. They were harboring some colored folks. But then you have those who wanted to help and didn't. So I can't really blame them. I mean, it was a system that was way bigger than them. And, if you decided to help, that'd be nice. If you didn't, hey, that's just how it was. But pretty grim reality for colored people. I was just imagining, like, wow, I couldn't, fathom going on a road trip and finding it difficult to get rest for the night, to take a break for the night. I just got back with my wife. We took a road trip down to Pasadena, and I just couldn't imagine, it being that difficult to find a motel to lay my head down, all because of my skin color. It's a different time, but sadly much hasn't changed. And the last point I want to just kind of go over how he says, come go to heaven with me, to California. That is amazing how so many Southerners saw or imagined California as this place, as this heaven. And unfortunately, when they got here, they found out it was no heaven. And that's just the cold, cold reality of it. But yes, I'm still reading. Tomorrow I'm going to share, I think I'm going to continue sharing about Robert Joseph and him trying to get to California. So that will be tomorrow. And I'm going to get into what I am watching. If you have not seen this movie, you gotta see it, man. It's called Smoking Causes Coughing, and it's a French movie, and it is hilarious. It's so funny, in fact. I think this is the first film with, well, foreign film with subtitles where I laughed out loud the first time I watched it. I mean, this movie is hilarious, man. You got to check it out. It's on Hulu. And the beautiful part about it is it's not too long. It's like barely an hour and 20 minutes. But this thing is gold. I mean, the director of this, I can't really pronounce his name. He has a very morbid, imaginative mind. I mean, he made a film back in the day called Rubber about a killer tire. Yes, a killer tire that went around and killed people. It started to like, and it killed him how? You got to watch it to find out. But it's, yes, a film about a killer tire called Rubber. But yeah, this guy, he's amazing. This movie, I love this movie. Smoking Causes Coughing. They're like they call themselves the Tobacco Force, and they're all named, nicotine and methanol and stuff like this. It's pretty funny. This scene is probably the standout scene of the movie for me. This has had me be like, whoa, it's about to come right now. There you go. Wow, look at that. Look at that. A work of art. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Like it's getting oh wow, yes. Beautiful stuff. But yes, this is called Smoking Causes Coughing. It is an amazing movie. You gotta check it out. I love this movie. I love it. It's silly, but I love it. Check it out. So I'll check back in tomorrow. You guys take care, and I'll keep on sharing. And yeah, take care.